Welcome to the Show Day Podcast. Today's August 1st, 2019. And yes, today is just that, August 1st of the 2019 DCI Summer Tour. That means June, the 10 days or so that the Coors Tour in June, that's of course over. And now we put the whole month of July behind us, and all the Coors and fans now turn their attention to this final push towards World Championships that will occur in the next about 4 or 5 days or so. So last night we had two shows, lots to say about both of those. And then tonight we have two more shows, one in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and another in Rome, New York. After tonight, world-class scorers will turn their attention, of course, to DCI East, and that sets them up for championships. And open-class scorers, they will continue to tour the Midwest, and by Monday, they will be in Marion, Indiana for the 2019 Open Class World Championships. So I'll cover last night, take a look ahead on today's Show Day podcast. So as I said in my intro, we did have two shows last night. First of those was Tour of Champions Chester in Chester, Pennsylvania. This was at Talon Energy Stadium, where the Philadelphia Union play, the Major League Soccer team here in the United States. So on the show last night, the first three course took the field. Jersey Surf, Crossman, the Cavaliers all took the field, and at intermission, the kind of a bunch of different things took place. So I'm just going to read the statement that was released from the cadets' parent organization, of course, being YA. So statement reads, due to unforeseen circumstances regarding the weather and field conditions at this evening's DCI Tour of Champions event at Talon Energy Stadium in Chester, Pennsylvania, the decision was made by the Talon Energy Stadium team, Drum Corps International, and the individual competing corps, that is, to have the second half of the show performed as a standstill. We understand that this was a disappointment to the many thousands of fans and the hundreds of performers in attendance, but with an abundance of caution in the long-term interest of health and safety of the marching members and the relationship with venue partners, the conditions did not permit for the program to be completed as originally scheduled, but we are pleased the corps agreed to perform their 2019 musical productions to give the best show possible given the conditions. We appreciate all of the support of our fans, friends, and alumni, and we look forward to an exciting conclusion to the 2019 DCI season. So, really, the big thing that kind of prompted that statement there is that the field conditions really just the culmination of weather issues that happened in the region. As I said, that it's rained, and grass and rain don't go together, and doing things on grass don't go together. So really that's the big thing, just a culmination of different things that prompted that decision to be made. And really, even though that happened, the performances that were given last night by those performers, and that they didn't, the three corps that did not get to perform in competition, Boston, Boston Vanguard, and the cadets, they all did give the best performance possible given the conditions. And since there was no immediate danger of rain in the area, I guess you can say danger, especially in context of what I'm referring to as the sound equipment and the speakers and everything, since there was no immediate threat of rain, the corps were still able to come out and actually give their full musical production and I guess you could say, still blow the roof off the place, even though there's not a roof. So, really just a great show last night. I was at this one, and and the three corps that performed before the intermission and before this decision were made, Surf, Crossman, Cavaliers. They did give great performances. I thoroughly enjoyed all three, and I love really every show. It's hard to say one show I don't like this year. I keep trying to think of it. I'm like, I just can't get to it. So, all six cores, even given the circumstances that were presented, all did give phenomenal productions last night, and I want to just kind of give a shout out to all of those cores that they didn't kind of give up on the audience like they could have, but actually came out and did a great job. So I'm excited to see everybody again this weekend in Allentown, and then moving forward for the rest of the season. So that was the first show last night in Chester. The second show was March On in Farmington, Minnesota, an all-open class event. We saw 5 cores here: Spartans, Gold, River City Rhythm, Louisiana Stars, and the Colt Cadets. Looking at the recap of general effect first, I really want to narrow this whole recap down into 2 battles: Spartans versus Gold and River City Rhythm versus the Louisiana Stars. You've got Spartans and Gold. You've got separating those two in general effect is just 5/10 of a point. Yes, that might be big, but if Gold could make some of that up in visual and music, that's good for them. I'll get to if they do in just a minute. That second battle there, River City Rhythm and the Louisiana Stars. River City Rhythm 28-5, Louisiana Stars 28-3. So 2/10 separating those two in general effect. That's really been those two competing against each other. That has been one of the best battles to watch all during tours this season so far. So a great battle in general effect, and it just keeps going over to music between those two pairs of cores. So Spartans and Gold first. Looking at the top of or all of the visual caption at the top. So visual proficiency: Spartans 15-5, Gold 15-2. Visual analysis: Spartans 15-8, Gold 15-5, and color guard: Spartans much better than Gold. They're 15-4 to a 14.77 of a point separating them. You kind of add all that up, divide it by 2, and you get the overall margin. Spartans a 23.35, Gold a 22.7 as their score in the visual caption. So 6.5 in visual, 5/10 in general effect, a big margin after those two captions, separating those top 2 cores. And this is really the battle, and this is why I'm emphasizing this battle so much. This is the battle for the Open Class Championship. Unless Legends did something to get in there, those 2 cores are the ones competing for the championship right now. When we look at River City Rhythm and Louisiana Stars, and their big thing, I think, right now is to get a top 5 spot or a top 7 spot. I'm not really sure where everything lines up. We won't know that until next Monday, but that, I think, is their big goal right now, and that's why this battle is so big, because wherever they finish, of course, will mean big things for the future. When we look at the visual recap for those two, River City Rhythm a 14-3. This is visual proficiency. Louisiana Stars a 13-8. Visual analysis: River City Rhythm a 14-9 to Louisiana Stars 13-9. Big margin there. And then in color guard, Louisiana Stars up by 3/10 over River City Rhythm in that subcaption. Overall visual scores for those two: River City Rhythm a 21-1, Louisiana Stars a 20.5. Colt Cadets down in 5th at an 18.4. Then in music, just kind of same thing, separating these into these 2 battles. First, at the top, Spartans and Gold. Looking at brass first, you've got Spartans on top by 2/10. Music analysis: Gold on top by a 10th, and then music percussion, Spartans on top by a 10th. So kind of analysis and percussion cancel out. Spartans win the overall music caption, a 23.3 to Gold's 23.2. Gold strong in music, but not stronger than the Spartans. I want to give kind of a shout out to the Spartans percussion team, whether that's staff, performers, etc. They were kind of losing to the Legends, or at least it was close between those two, and now obviously not comparing them to the Legends here, but they have been able to kind of rebound. And it's kind of the same thing I talked about yesterday with the Crossmen, that and it's really the same thing with both of these scores. That if something if they were going after something, like in this case, Spartans going after the Open Class Championship, Crossman that is going after maybe a top 10 spot in world class, that percussion was going to be the thing holding both of them back, and both of those scores have rebounded greatly, so kind of a shout out to both of them. So back to this show, after a little bit of a shout out to the Spartans. So River City Rhythm and Louisiana Stars, the other battle here in music. Looking in brass, you've got River City Rhythm at 15, even Louisiana Stars at 14-5. Music analysis, River City Rhythm up by 0.2, and music analysis, you've got River City Rhythm up by 0.2 there as well. Overall music, River City Rhythm, of course, gets third as they get all three of those over the Louisiana Stars, a 21.2 to a 20.75, a pretty big margin separating those two there, and then the Colt Cadets in fifth and an 18.7. Overall scores on the night here, Spartans at a 77.45, Gold at a 76.2, 1.25, separating those top two open class scores. Currently, I think it's fair to say that we can move Spartans into the conversation of clear open class championship favorite after this event last night. River City Rhythm in third is 70.8, Louisiana Stars in fourth a 69.55, and the Colt Cadets in fifth at a 62.4. Definitely, they're establishing themselves, the Colt Cadets are, as a clear open class finals kind of guarantee, or next to a guarantee right now. Tonight, we've got two shows on the schedule. First of those being the CYO Nationals in Lawrence, Massachusetts. 8 corps will take to the field there. We've got 3 of those being an exhibition. The Muchachos, North Star, and Crusaders Senior. Kind of 3 alumni corps in the Northeast. Of course, will come out and give great performances for the audience that comes to this one tonight. After those 3 perform, we've got 5 world-class corps here. The first of those being the Seattle Cascades at 8:31, 8:48, and intermission. Then 4 more corps after the break. We've got the Colts, the Mandarins, Carolina Crown, and the Boston Crusaders. Boston will perform an encore at 10:16, and scores will be announced somewhere around 10:36. So, what are we watching for here? Boston, a great performance last night in Chester. I didn't really get too specific earlier when I was talking about the specific performances last night, but Boston put out a great show last night, music-wise, of course, and I'm excited to see where they can go in this last week, pretty much, before championships next week. So Boston, a great performance last night. They'll be able to replicate that tonight with Carolina Crown there as well. Can Boston close in on Crown anymore like we've seen earlier in the season? Can they close in a little bit more? And really, I was excited to see Cavaliers versus Boston last night. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that on the recaps. But I would say that Boston, I still think, is ahead. I get why the Cavaliers are ahead, but I'm still kind of leaning towards Boston when I look at like shows I really, really like this season. And how that kind of relates to this is, can they pull any closer to Crown? That's the big thing here. Mandarins, they got to be in 86, 87 tonight, or maybe even higher. 88, 89 would sure be in the realm of possibility. I think they still have a small chance to get to the Cadets, but I think that chance is dwindling by the day, honestly. The Colts, I don't think they're going to make finals. I'll be honest about it. I think if something was going to happen, it would have had to happen earlier this season. I am excited that they did change to the blue costumes for the second half of that show. I wrote something on Twitter about that earlier this season, that they should do that, and they did it. So thank you, Colts. Your show is much more understandable now. When we're looking at scores for them tonight, get past 80 and even higher tonight. And then Seattle Cascades just keep continuing past 70 at the show tonight. Of course, will be very thrilling to look at these scores tomorrow. The second and final show tonight is Drums Along the Mohawk in Rome, New York. We've got 6 scores here, 4 before intermission, those being Music City, Jersey Surf, the Troopers, and Pacific Crest. That'll be followed by an intermission, and then Spirit of Atlanta and Phantom Regiment after, an encore at 9:17, and scores will be announced at 9:37. I saw Spirit the other night in Annapolis, a good show by them. They're kind of doing something new this season. I said this on yesterday's podcast, but I'm still missing something of that show. I'll see it again this weekend in Allentown, so I'll get to have a little bit more, maybe a little bit more understanding of that. But still, I'm leaning towards what I've seen from Phantom so far, and I'm extremely excited to see Phantom, of course, among others, but extremely excited to see how Phantom comes out on this weekend in Allentown, because that show, the energy behind it and the performer quality is just through the roof, and I really hope they add something dramatic into that show, as I've been saying for about 2 weeks now. Hope they add that dramatic thing into that show coming soon. So I hope Phantom will do that. If they don't, they'll still make finals nonetheless. This is the first time, I think, all season, I think I'd be right to say that we've just seen these two, really nobody close to them at a show. So, first and only time, really. And it'll be interesting to see how those two come out of tonight looking. Also, Pacific Crest, can they pull kind of close to Spirit? I'd be excited to see them within 2 points tonight. I'm not sure if they can do it, but I'd be thrilled to see that. I really like what Pacific Crest is doing. And then also the Troopers, Music City, Jersey Surf, those three. They'll fall in that order, I think. But it'll be interesting to see how they do come out of tonight looking with their quality of performance, I guess, and also their scores after tonight heading into DCI East. So, thank you for watching the podcast. Just a few things. Make sure to visit my website, drumcorcentral.weebly.com, for all the latest updates for the DCI and DCA summer tours, scores, schedules, leaderboards, and more can all be found on my own personal website about all things drum corps. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Drum Corps Geek, and subscribe to the Show Day podcast on YouTube, where this podcast and more will be posted. Finally, leave your thoughts in the comment sections. Questions, input, comments, etc. would all be greatly appreciated. And now just a few notes here at the end here, with what's still to come this season and other things. So first, I'll be posting today on Twitter and on numerous other platforms my DCI East housing site rehearsal site guide. I was like making one of these for each of the regionals. Unfortunately, I missed Atlanta, but I did have one for San Antonio, and now again for Allentown. I'm looking forward to maybe going around to 1 or 2 of those this weekend, and seeing what the corps are putting out in rehearsal, and then seeing it live, which is always a great thing. So that's thing number 1, and I'll put that in the description as well on the YouTube video, if you'd like to check that out, or if you're in the area or whatever. So and the other thing is, 1 week from today is DCI World Championship prelims. Oh, how this season has gone fast. Today is really, as I said this last night, I'm not sure if I posted it anywhere, but today is really the last day of tour when you really think of it, where we've got numerous shows in different places, like where we're looking this weekend. All the corps come into the Allentown region, and then really everybody just goes together the rest of the way. So today's really the last day of tour, where corps are in numerous different locations, and season's gone fast. Of course, not ready for it to end, but it has been a thriller, and I can't wait to see how everything ends up over this next week. A week and 2 days, I guess, at this point. Still to come, we've got shows tonight, and then DCI East, and then shows on Sunday and Monday, and then of course moving into World Championship week next week. I can't believe it's here already. I mean, come Sunday, it's World Championship week. So season's gone fast, but I'm excited to see where the rest of the season takes us. So Thank you for watching the Show Day podcast today. I'll be back again tomorrow analyzing tonight's scores and taking a look ahead. Have a great rest of your Thursday.